I really hate my grandpa. I'm sorry to start off so negatively, but I just wish I could express my utter disdain for my grandpa and his zany antics. He treats me like a 2-year-old even though I have been Fordham University twice and work as a waiter at a high-class restaurant called Stingy Edie Time. Every time a birthday or Christmas comes by, my grandpa would take it to his sole goal and give me loads of kids' TV shows, DVDs. The worst kind of shows were like Peppa Pig, Super Wide, Little Einsteins, and Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, etc. My grandpa works an assistant at CEX and has been personal footage of his brother, Mr. Carface, who supplies my grandpa with loads of free DVDs. Mr. Carface is a fat bulldog who stinks of cheese and wee, and he can't go 2 seconds without smoking a cigar. And that just makes me sick to my stomach. All the shows Grandpa forced me to sit through, the worst of my opinion, was none other than Peppa Pig. It was the worst show I've ever seen. I never felt like it, like when I was a wee 2 years old, living in the hills of Russia. I'm not going to bother explaining the lore of Peppa Pig, because quite frankly, dear, I haven't got the time and really needed to take a crap, like some kind of Mickey Mouse. My grandpa and Mr. Carface were fully aware of my intense hatred for Peppa Pig, and Mr. Carface supplies my grandpa with buckets upon buckets of Peppa Pig DVDs, video games, and plush toys, and even CEX doesn't sell plush toys. What the hell, honestly? One warm spring afternoon, I was making a fishy zimbiative sandwich, and if you don't know what it is, well, let me just say, you're just gonna find it out someday. I was making a sandwich when my grandpa came in holding a CEX bag. "I got you a new DVD, boyo," my grandpa said as he showed shoving a cigar into his mouth for at least a certain, I hope it was a cigar. It looked like a bunch of hot air to me. I looked out at my grandpa with contempt before asking, "Oh, and let me guess, another Peppa Pig DVD, isn't it, Grandpa?" Grandpa smiled wickedly on Onion Cat before saying, "Why, yes it is, my boy." My grandpa then proceeded to reach into his plastic bag and threw me the DVD. It hit me in the chest and caused me to start vomiting outside, but of course that's a whole nother story. As far as I can tell you is without a drink in my hand, if you know what I mean. I looked at the DVD cover, and the DVD cover had a picture of Daddy Pig standing on top of a hill with flames in the background. Also, Daddy Pig was pulling off an evil grin. The back of the DVD was rather odd. It was a picture of Patchy the Pirate selling cookie dough with the Empire Bay treads. Who on earth would take that picture? I wonder if that's what the story was behind that. Anyways, I proceeded to try to explain that my grandpa was really busy for his work and I was working late on my shift, but my grandpa was having none of it. He forced me to sit down in the living room and threw my half-made sandwich in the trash can. The rude carrot onion. My grandpa proceeded to push the disc into the nearby DVD player. I began browsing on my phone, and one of about Frank cough drops came into my window and poked his disgusting face through it. "Bruce, you must stop watching this DVD before..." Cough drops was silenced when my grandpa threw a brick at his face. Suddenly a big smoke came in and asked, "What was all that, baby?" "You never smoke," Grandpa instructed as the chemicals or commercials began to play. Oh, they were only extremely rare. One of the commercial was a local potato farmer getting beat up by a debt collector. Another had Larry the Lobster drowning in protein shakes with Richard Bragg, laughing in the head as he's had laces on him like a mega colon blow. And another one had a BSL reaction asylum watching a Mario YouTube poop. "It's bread," it yelled, and then at the top of its mighty lungs of mightiness, you see old BSL quite high on toast. After this main menu finally appeared, it was rather weird and bland, and it just had a picture of Peppa Pig and George playing on the computer with Daddy Pig. There was also a horrid instrumental of the theme song began to play in the background. It sounded awful and made my ears bleed out eggshells. It was over 9,000 options to choose from, but I didn't have time to go through all of them. One of the options read, Rap Rat Talks Back. Curious, I clicked on it, and I was treated to a video of my grandpa rapping to Rap Rat and the Cool Cats while Daddy Derek was dancing with glow boxes in the background. It's a hip-hop coolest with the coolest cat and the best rat, Derek sang in his sticky, strong Southern accent. Suddenly, the King of Hyrule came in my house and said, Enough! I exited out of the video and then I clicked on the play episode. Instead of the episode beginning playing with the normal song, well, it actually was just everything but normal. Well, for starters, one of the characters were present in the intro. It was only Daddy Pig, and all the snort noises were replaced with farts, big ones too. So the episode starts off with the outside view of Peppa's house. The title card on the title screen read, The Ballad of Daddy Pig. Now, I have seen about every single episode of Peppa Pig because my grandpa is forcing me to watch them, but I ain't never seen an episode named that before. I shook it off and I was quite a big fan of Taylor Swift as well. The episode then showed the inside of Peppa's house with Daddy Pig watching TV in the living room. Suddenly, Peppa came in and yelled, Daddy, you need to go to run and lose that fat belly of yours. Daddy Pig shook his head violently before saying, Just a minute, Peppa. I want to finish my show. All of a sudden, the TV switched off as Goofy pulled out the plug, and Goofy then looked at Daddy Pig with an incredibly cheesy grin. It was cheesy than Wallace's cheese collection. Daddy Pig was then forced to go on a run, as clearly was very tired, and he had gotten home from the incredibly long and hard day at work. He tried to tell Peppa and Mummy Pig about this, but they were having absolutely none of it. What a bunch of people that just won't listen. Anyways, Daddy Pig eventually returned home and fell on top of the sofa and tried to take a nap. Suddenly the TV switched on and Mr. Potato Head came on screen holding a picture of Daddy Pig. Daddy Pig is very fat, isn't he, children? Mr. Potato asked before continuing with, Daddy Pig needs some exercise. This caused Daddy Pig to shoot up like a brick and asked, what? Mr. Potato then yelled, Daddy Pig dance! It was kind of reminding me of how Squidward was once tormented by Fat Billy Nobar, but that was just another story entirely. Daddy Pig then proceeded to do the dance of the rhythm of the jungle, all the while Mr. Potato constantly went off and on about Daddy Pig being so fat. Suddenly, Peppa and George came in with Peppa yelling, Work that fat belly, Daddy! This caused Daddy Pig to start tearing up as Mr. Worry came in and said, This could be trouble. Daddy Pig then fell to the floor and fell asleep. The following day, Daddy Pig woke up late for work and found out that his car has been towed away by Miss Rabbit for some unknown reason. Oh dear, the narrator said as Daddy Pig began racing down the hill all the way to his work. At work, Daddy's boss, Mr. Hinkle, forced Daddy to drop him and give him 20 push-ups. Then it increased to a number of 69 as old Hinkle did not have anything for Daddy Pig, so all the rumors were true. Returning home that night, Daddy Pig plopped onto the sofa, and Peppa came in and changed the channel, which caused Daddy Pig to say, But Peppa, I was watching that. But it's a bit boring, Daddy, Peppa Pig said as suddenly Mummy's Pig came in and forced Daddy to be making into pancakes. The secret behind the smelly pancake is to flip it, Daddy Pig said as he attempted to flip the pancake, only to have it stick to the ceiling. What a crap pancake, Mummy Pig laughed. All of a sudden, Squidward came on the screen and smiled, but it was rather a sinister squiddly grin. Suddenly, a lightning strike could be heard outside as Daddy yelled, That's it! I had enough! Daddy Pig then proceeded to beat Mummy Pig with the frying pan. And then he turned around to see his attention to Peppa and proceeded to throw her out the window. Then he proceeded to sit on top of George. Of course, George died in the process. Daddy Pig then ran upstairs to a bedroom and pulled out a shotgun. I thought I never had to use this, Daddy Pig proclaimed as he ran outside to find out his car was still towed. Police all pressed came up to Daddy Pig and said, We've had complaints about a domestic violence dispute. Can you? Daddy Pig then proceeded to basically kill everyone with his shotgun instantly. He suddenly then proceeded to kill Miss Rabbit, Rebecca Rabbit, Susie Sheep, Danny Dog, and Madame Giselle, along with many others. Daddy then proceeded to reach the theater where Mr. Potato and his family were filming a dumb Christmas show. even though it wasn't a Christmas-themed episode. Daddy Pig then jumped on the stage and, of course, he killed Mr. Potato's family before yelling, "Mr. Potato, I have come for you! Oh, sugar, honey, iced tea!" Mr. Potato cried as Daddy Pig proceeded to grab Mr. Potato and lift him in the air with his immense strength. Daddy Pig then proceeded to drag Mr. Potato outside and then threw him into the trunk of his car. Arriving back at the house, Daddy Pig then threw Mr. Potato in the kitchen and grabbed the potato masher and proceeded to mash Mr. Potato into mashed potatoes, and he ate the messy potato in seconds flat. Suddenly the narrator in human form came into the house and said, "Daddy Pig is very handsome." Daddy Pig then proposed to the narrator to get married. 2 months later, with the long-time montage which shown introduced their wedding, then moving into Mr. Potato's mansion, Daddy Pig then eating a pumpkin, and says, "The pumpkins are the only thing I can eat." Suddenly, Mr. Pumpkin came in and yelled, "I don't want that!" But when that episode ended with the normal credits, there was only a post-credits scene, which featured Mr. Pumpkin at the restaurant, owner by Markiplier of all people. "Give me the jam," Mr. Pumpkin said, which Markiplier said, "Are you selling this, mister?" Mr. Pumpkin's eyes then dashed violently from left and right and said quickly, "Of course not." Markiplier had caught the wind of the drug business that Mr. Pumpkin had going on with the Markiplier crime family. For Mr. Pumpkin, who has closed a friend of Uncle Lou, too close he could say, but I digress. I am a big fan of Wii Sports, and after all, but then, yet again, who was it really? Suddenly, I felt a revolver touch the back of my head, and Grandpa said in a quiet voice, "Stick them up, cowboy." "Not today," I proclaimed angrily as I punched my grandpa square in the face. Then I proceeded to have an epic fight with Frank Cough Drops, and the King of Hyrule cheering us in the background. "Kick his ass!" Cough Drops yelled as I proceeded to beat the living shorts out of my grandpa. Then I proceeded to call the police, who arrived at my house 2 hours later to take my grandpa to jail. Then the police officers who came in to arrest my grandpa were none other than Sam and Max themselves. "Jumping jellyfish on Starline's sandwich, we finally got him, Max," Sam proclaimed happily. "You see, it turns out my grandpa was involved in furious business with Mr. Carface. They were getting their products from the Empire Bay trends and who wished to take over the French ward, and Mr. Carface was more than happy to oblige by cutting his ties with the Mercano family. After my grandpa was arrested, Mr. Carface was caught not long after them and were given life in prison. Also, a huge chunk of trades were put into the electric chair before it might be sickening as a firecracker, but I could not give a flying duck. Life began getting better as well for me. I ended up moving up to Empire Bay and got a respectable job as properly as magnate and even rumored crime boss Leo Yogelit's accountant. I got paid around $100,000 per month, and I used that money to buy a house in Greenland and live my own luxurious sherbet refrigerator in the best sports car in the whole world. Meanwhile, Mr. Cough Drops took over as CEX, and that my grandpa that once worked at the end then spotted a malfunctioning plant. I learned something from that Peppa Pig episode, I learned that there's something that comes a time when you must stand up to people who insult you and beat down no matter what those who are backing then. Then when you may finally learn to stand up for yourselves and good times will happen. Now, if you excuse me, dear readers, I need to go and take a steamy dump. Goodbye for now. Well, Matthew Bumford, you managed to make me laugh yet again with this story. Man, this was awesome. I can definitely say it was awesome. And that, my little pretties, was the ballad of Daddy Pig, a Peppa Pig Lost episode written by Matthew Bumford. Thank you so much, Matthew Bumford, for the story. I really do appreciate that you wrote this for me, and I really do really enjoyed it. Now, my final thoughts on this story. It was really good, I can definitely say. It was a really funny creepypasta, or funny pasta in this case, regarding Peppa Pig. Now, I'm going to be honest that I don't really like Peppa Pig, which I'm sure most of us don't like it. But for some reason, this creepypasta is really good. Like, the funny pastas of Peppa Pig, I can understand. And the creepypastas as well are the ones I like. But I don't like the show as well. Like, the Peppa Pig show, for some reason, is just not as great as it used to be. Like, it's just, I don't know what to say. I guess maybe it's just not as great as it used to be, but I could definitely say there was definitely time and effort into this, which is a very good thing. Because I could really definitely say that this story was actually really interesting. Now, don't get me wrong. I know sometimes funny pastas are not meant to be taken seriously. But I could definitely say this one was actually pretty cool, in my opinion. Like, the grammar of this story was actually beautiful. The sentence structure was good. The storyline was just amazing. And everything about it was just, I don't even know what to say anymore. It's just really good. It was just really, really good. And I do know there was a lot of time and effort into the story. But here's the thing. I could definitely say that, that not everyone has, not everyone likes, Peppa Pig, which, for those who like Peppa Pig, I understand that's your opinion. And, I don't have a problem if people don't like, people like Peppa Pig, that's fine. But I could definitely say that Peppa Pig was actually, to me, not really a good show. And I might make maybe another episode, or maybe I'll do a discussion video on why I don't like Peppa Pig, which I might make a discussion video, talking about that. That's going to be like another video for another day. Okay. With this episode, I could definitely say there was a lot of time and effort into the story. And it is a really good thing. It's a really thing that I really have to say. Like, a lot of these pastas, most of the time, they're good. Like, the funny pastas itself are just flat out amazing. And that's a very good positive that I can definitely say with this story. Now, do I, like the fact that, Daddy Pig, the episode was pretty cool? Yeah, I actually found it to be really amazing. Now, with the Peppa Pig itself, I actually found this episode to be quite good. Like, the grammar was good, the sentence structuring, the paragraph structuring was good, the storyline was awesome, the concept was just amazing. The protagonist is Grandpa making him watch Peppa Pig, which, here's the thing, like, I'm really glad this Grandpa got arrested in this, but oh, it's just it's really funny. I can definitely say there was a lot of time and effort. Now, Matthew Bumford, you did a really awesome job with this story. I can definitely say you did amazing with this story. Now, is there anything negative do I have to say about this story? No. Obviously, I don't have anything negative to say about it. It's just flat out amazing. There was, like, time and effort into the story. There was, like, great concepts to it. Like, I mean, why can't creepypastas nowadays be just as good as this one? I'm afraid that's something I don't understand, but, that's just me. But, you guys may like it, you guys may not, but, that's your opinion, and as long as you respect my opinion, we should all be good. And like I'm going to say right now, this is simply my own personal opinion, and if you disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions regards to these creepypastas, and this is simply my own personal thoughts. My final rating of this story would have to be I'm gonna give this one a 10 out of 10. Oh, so, pardon me about that. I was a little tired. Now, I said, my final rating of the story is a 10 out of 10. It's a great creepypasta, great concept, great everything about it. Like, there was a lot of great stuff regarding to it, which is really nice. Now, is there anything negative to say about it? Now, I don't have anything negative to say about it, or, like, what I didn't like about it, but this one was just amazing. And I could definitely say there's time and effort into the story, which is a really big positive with this. Now, anyways, what did you all think about this creepypasta? Or funny pastas in this case. Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what we have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Leave me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section down below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. If you're brand new here to this channel, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell to when I upload so you guys will not miss an upload. And like always, please roll the outro because I'm out of here, and I will be seeing you all in the next video. Peace.